Welcome to this use case tutorial. My name is Axel, and this time I will talk about the production file. So how can you configure the output for printing? I've got a simple document here, just a text frame and a shape. And if there's nothing else defined, this editable document will be used for the print output. If we check it with that feature here, we will get a single page PDF with the content of that document. So even if I add additional documents here, they won't be part of the print output. Let's give it a try. We still got a single page PDF here, because they are not set to production. But if we do so, to say this should also be outputted for production, let's take both of them. And we are now asking again for an output file. We will get two PDFs. They are both blank because there isn't any content so far in them. And we don't get page number 1 anymore, because as soon as I define an alternative document for production, document number 1 will not be part of the print output anymore. If it should be outputted as well, I have to set it to production. Before we ask for an output again, let me remove that one. We do not need that many documents here for demonstrating. I will select these existing frames to copy them, to paste them in place. And let me change the color of the heart here. And now we will ask for an output file again. And we will get 2 pages, document 2 and document 1 rendered. But as you can see, we have 2 separate PDFs. If you would like to have them in one file, you can set the option combine PDFs files here. But all these settings here of that dialog are just for testing. If you would set up any of these features here for real production output, you have to do it through the API call. So let's ask again for an output file. And now we get 1 PDF with 2 pages. But what if the output should differ from the setup documents for the buyer side? Let me remove that one here. So we've got just 1 print file so far. And because of that, we don't need to define production here. So we are back at where we started from. And now let's say the output file should be rotated by 90 degrees. How to achieve that? First of all, we need a new document. And that document I will change, from portrait to landscape. That's really it. And now I will take the document which is editable by the buyer to place it as a so-called subdocument here. This is why we've got that pink background shown here. This is telling us you are now placing a document on another document to make it or let it become a so-called subdocument. And all I really have to do now is set the rotation to 90 degrees and to scale it to the size of the document. And it now appears bigger, but this is just because of the different zoom factor here. If I zoom it to about 60 is the other one, I guess, you do realize that it is at the end of the day the same size. So now again we have to define that this should be our output. So we set it to production again. And if we now ask for our output file, the output file will be that one, 90 degrees rotated. In addition to the pure output file, you can also add a so-called job sheet. I will name it that way. And I can choose the option here. The job sheet can include additional information you may need for production. If it's a binding option, or if you do posters without frame, you can put all that kind of information here onto the job sheet. So if we would do, just as a quick example, we do have a select list called option, and we do posters with frame and without frame. I can put a text field here onto my job sheet to link it to that information. And depending now on the selection at the buyer side, you will get that information written onto your job sheet. You can implement other variables like an order number, which you can transfer from your shop system through the API into each single template which will be ordered, and then the order number will turn up here as well. So again, a job sheet is for additional information for production. And if we now ask for the production file again, we still got the option to get 2 separate PDFs, order combined files. Maybe in this case you would like to keep them separate. So give it a try. We've got our job sheet and we've got our 90 degrees rotated print file. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.